As we all know, in this world there are many people. This means that in this world there are many different characters or personalities. Yes, in this video we will discuss one human personality, namely introverted personality. What is an introvert? Introvert is a term used to describe someone who prefers to spend time alone. Feel more comfortable in a quiet environment, feel happier when not surrounded by many people. Even though introverts prefer to be alone, there are times when they feel happy when they spend time with other people. However, introverts only feel this when they are with the people closest to them. People with introverted personalities are often accused of being shy. Although that's not the case. Introverts are not shy people, they just don't like making small talk with other people. Sometimes introverts are accused of being people who rarely talk. That's not entirely true. Actually, an introvert is not someone who rarely talks. It's just that he's the type of person who doesn't like talking about unimportant things. So it's natural that he is lazy about talking, or responding to the topics of conversation of the people around him. Honestly, introverts are intelligent and really like to talk. It's just that he is the type of speaker who has rules in his life. 1. Only talk a lot at important times. 2. Talk a lot when talking about things that are useful, valuable, and worth talking about. 3. Sometimes they also talk about unimportant topics, chat about silly topics, and are full of jokes. However, they only talk about such things to people who are close to them. Yes, those are the 3 mandatory rules for introverts in the context of talking. In addition to being accused of being shy, rarely talking, introverts are also often accused of being someone who is closed. What I mean by closed is that they rarely explain or show things about themselves. For example, they rarely reveal their hobbies, rarely talk about their talents or abilities, rarely express their emotions in front of others, and even some introverts do not want to create or have social media accounts. Right, not closed, but rather to maintain their privacy so that it is not exposed to the public. For an introvert, privacy is very important, should not be shared, and must be kept secret. Especially on social media, an introvert is very careful with social media. Because they know that social media is very dangerous, all information can spread very quickly. That is why some introverts prefer not to have social media. Even if they have it, they will be very careful. What they like, where they are, what they are doing. Rarely exposed on their social media. Even if they upload something on social media, of course they will think about it first. Many also say that introverts are the type of people who are very difficult to approach and difficult to make friends with. No, that's wrong. It doesn't mean they have difficulty making friends. It's just that introverts are the type of people who are observant in assessing the nature and character of others. From these observations, along with these assessments, introverts become selective in choosing friends. From this it can be concluded that introverts do not find it difficult to find friends, but they do not accept just anyone to be their friend. Although introverts prefer to be alone, it does not mean they cannot be involved in social interactions. If it is important and beneficial, introverts will show their greatness in social interactions. However, if it is not important and not profitable, for them it is just a waste of time and energy. So they prefer to be alone. So that you can get to know more about introverts, I will mention the characteristics of someone who has an introvert personality. 1. Likes to analyze and observe. Before doing something, introverts tend to choose to learn, observe, or analyze first. This is because an introvert will use more of the frontal lobe, which is the part of the brain that functions to plan, remember, and think about how to get things done. For example, when an introvert tries to approach someone he finds attractive, an introvert does not immediately execute and immediately approach his target. However, first he will look for information about his target. And the information he is looking for is usually very detailed. Starting from the target's full name, date of birth, height, weight, hobbies, to the names of his parents, he looks for it. He will get this information in various ways he has. After getting this information, he will assess the personality of his target. If it feels dangerous and inappropriate to approach, then the introvert will lose interest and not want to approach his target. However, if an introvert considers and assesses his target as someone who is worthy of being approached, so he will make plans, set strategies in such a way as to be able to approach his target. The second characteristic of an introvert is having few friends. As previously discussed, introverts have a sharp assessment of a person's character and are picky about others. So it is not surprising that an introvert only has 1 to 2 friends. For him, quality is more valuable than quantity. if he has labeled someone as his best friend, let alone labeled him as a close friend. Of course, he will maintain that friendship until death. And the person he considers to be his best friend, he will treat very well. The third characteristic of an introvert is a good listener. They tend to be good listeners because before speaking, introverts prefer to listen first. This makes him able to understand and provide wise responses. The fourth characteristic, tendency to introspect. Introverts often have deep thoughts and like to reflect on their own feelings, experiences, and ideas. From the attitude of self-introspection that he has high self-awareness. If he is wrong, then he will admit that it is his fault and not blame others. The fifth characteristic, thinking maturely. Introverts usually consider everything carefully before speaking or acting. They tend not to be impulsive and prefer to take time to reflect. The sixth characteristic, sensitive to external stimuli. Introverts may feel overwhelmed or uncomfortable in environments that are very noisy, crowded, or full of stimulation. They prefer a quieter and more peaceful environment. The seventh characteristic, cautious in opening up. Introverts may take more time to open up to others. They tend to be selective about who they allow to approach and share personal things. The eighth characteristic, high creativity and imagination. Many introverts have a rich inner world and high imagination. They often enjoy creative activities such as art, music, or writing. The ninth characteristic, avoiding conflict. Introverts tend to avoid confrontation and conflict, preferring to maintain peace and harmony. 10th trait, need to recharge. After social interaction, introverts usually need time to recharge their energy by spending time alone. Well, those are some of the traits possessed by an introvert. Is there a cause that makes someone have an introverted personality? Introverted personality is one of 4 personality dimensions in the personality psychology theory known as the MBTI, Myers-Briggs Type Indicator. People who have an introverted personality tend to be more interested in their own internal world and are more comfortable in quiet, reflective situations. Some of the causes of someone having an introverted personality include 1. Genetics. Genetic factors can play a role in determining a person's personality. There is evidence that the tendency to be introverted or extroverted can be inherited. For example, research shows that the level of the brain's prefrontal cortex, which is associated with information processing, is more active in introverts. 2. Early experience. Childhood experiences and parenting can influence personality development. Children who are raised in an environment that supports self-reflection and introversion may be more likely to develop introverted traits. 3. Social environment. Social and cultural environments also play a role. Cultures that value introspection and solitude may be more supportive of the development of an introverted personality. 4. Neurochemistry. Levels of neurotransmitters such as dopamine can influence how much a person seeks external stimulation. Introverts tend to have a stronger response to external stimuli, so they prefer quieter environments. 5. Life experiences. Significant life experiences, such as trauma or certain events, can influence personality development. For example, a negative experience in a social situation can cause someone to become more withdrawn and tend to avoid social interactions. While the above factors can influence personality, it is important to remember that personality is a spectrum. Now let's talk about the advantages of an introvert. An introvert has a number of special advantages that can be very valuable, both in personal and professional life. Some of these advantages include 1. Deep ability to reflect. Introverts often have the ability to reflect and think things through. They tend to process information thoroughly before making decisions. 2. Good listening skills. Because they are more focused on the internal world and tend to talk less, introverts are often very good at listening and understanding others. They can give their full attention when someone is talking. 3. Independence. Introverts are often comfortable working alone and can be very productive in situations that require concentration and independent work. 4. Deep relationship quality. They usually have few but very meaningful relationships. They are more likely to build deep and authentic connections with the people around them. 5. Problem-solving skills. Their ability to reflect and think deeply often helps them solve problems creatively and effectively. 6. Calmness in stressful situations. Introverts are often able to remain calm and focused in stressful situations because they prefer to work through problems internally before reacting externally. 7. Ability to work in quiet environments. They are typically more productive in quiet, undisturbed environments, which allows them to work with high concentration. 8. Observation and observation. Introverts are often highly observant and sensitive to detail, which allows them to better understand situations and people. 9. Creativity. Because of their tendency to focus on ideas and internal reflection, many introverts find that they have strong creative talents. Those are some of the advantages possessed by an introvert. Although the introvert personality has many advantages, there are also some challenges or disadvantages that introverts may face. Some of these disadvantages include: 1. Somewhat awkward in socializing. Introverts may feel uncomfortable in crowded or new social situations. They may feel overstimulated or feel awkward in large social events. 2. Limitations in networking. In a professional environment, introverts may feel less comfortable in networking or building extensive relationships, which can affect their career opportunities. 3. Tendency to be alone. The need for solitude can make them feel isolated or have difficulty building broader social relationships. This can have an impact on their emotional well-being if not balanced with adequate social relationships. 4. Lack of self-expression. Introverts often tend to hold back their feelings or ideas rather than share them openly. This can result in a lack of clear communication and make it difficult for others to understand them. 5. Difficulty in stressful situations. In situations that require quick reactions or intense communication, introverts may feel overwhelmed or have difficulty adapting to these demands. 6. High indifference to ridicule and the opinions of others. If he is teased, made fun of, or criticized about his personality, then an introvert will show his indifference, considering the person who teased him as just a passing wind that has no meaning. 7. Challenges in adapting. Introverts may have difficulty adapting to sudden changes or social demands because they prefer routine and stability. 8. Self-warning. Sometimes, introverts may tend to be too critical of themselves, especially in situations that require social interaction or public appearances. Despite these shortcomings, it is important to remember that many of these challenges can be overcome with self-awareness and the right strategies. For introverts, suitable hobbies often involve activities that can be done alone or in a quiet environment. Here are some hobbies that might be suitable. 1. Reading. Reading a book, novel, or article is a great way to enjoy some alone time and engage in a world of imagination or knowledge. 2. Writing. Writing a journal, short story, poem, or even a blog can be a great way to express thoughts and feelings privately. 3. Painting or drawing. Art activities such as painting, drawing, or knitting allow for creative expression in a quiet setting. 4. Photography. Taking photos, especially in peaceful or natural settings, can be a fun way to explore creativity while enjoying some alone time. 5. Gardening. Gardening or caring for plants can be a calming and satisfying activity, providing an opportunity to reflect while caring for plants. 6. Meditation and yoga. Meditation and yoga practices can help introverts feel more connected to themselves and reduce stress. 7. Cooking or baking. Cooking or baking can be a fun and creative activity, and can be rewarding. 8. Puzzles or cognitive games. Putting together puzzles, playing chess, or other brain games can be a great way to stimulate the mind in a quiet environment. 9. Music. Listening to music, playing an instrument, or even making your own music can be a very satisfying and personal activity. 10. Hiking or walking in nature. Outdoor activities like hiking or walking in nature allow for alone time while enjoying the beauty of nature. 11. Crafting. Activities like knitting, jewelry making, or other crafts can be done alone and provide a sense of accomplishment. These hobbies provide an opportunity to enjoy alone time, calm the mind, and explore personal interests without having to engage in intense social situations. Yep, those are some hobbies that might be a good fit for introverts. Introverts also tend to have some preferences and dislikes when it comes to how they interact with the world around them. Here are some things that introverts may not like. 1. Crowded social situations. They may feel uncomfortable or exhausted in loud or crowded social settings, such as parties or social gatherings involving a lot of people. 2. Intense social interactions. Conversations or social interactions that require a lot of emotional energy or that last for a long period of time can be overwhelming for introverts. 3. Demands of public speaking. Public speaking or presentations are often challenging for introverts, as they may feel awkward or pressured. 4. Distractions or anxiety. Noisy or distracting environments can be very distracting for introverts, who tend to prefer quiet, orderly settings. 5. Excessive social appeal. The pressure to always appear cheerful or socially active can make introverts feel uncomfortable or inauthentic. 6. Activities that force constant interaction. Activities that force them to constantly interact with others without any time for themselves can cause stress. 7. Having to engage in overwhelming activities. Large events or celebrations that require active participation can feel overwhelming for introverts. 8. Pressure to be extroverted. When those around them push them to be more extroverted or social than they feel comfortable with, introverts can feel stressed. 9. Energy-demanding activities. Activities that require high levels of physical or mental energy that are consistently high can leave introverts feeling drained. 10. Group activities that don't allow alone time. Events or activities that don't allow for downtime or alone time can be a turn-off for introverts. Knowing these introverted dislikes can help create a more supportive and comfortable environment for introverts, both socially and personally. Introverts often feel more comfortable and enjoy places that offer peace, privacy, and opportunities to reflect or relax. Here are some types of places that introverts might enjoy. 1. Quiet cafes or coffee shops. These places often have a cozy atmosphere and are not too noisy, ideal for relaxing with a drink or reading. 2. Libraries. With their calm atmosphere and plenty of space to read or study, libraries are great places for introverts. 3. Parks or outdoor spaces. Quiet, natural environments provide an opportunity to enjoy peace and reconnect with nature. 4. Private spaces in the home. Private spaces such as bedrooms or living rooms in the home are ideal places for introverts to reflect and relax. 5. Museums or art galleries. These places offer a peaceful environment and an opportunity to enjoy art without having to engage in intense social interactions. 6. City parks. These places often provide open spaces with a quiet atmosphere, perfect for walking or sitting. 7. Meditation or yoga room. These spaces provide an opportunity to calm the mind and body in a quiet, focused environment. 8. Nature cabin or lodge. Staying in a place like a cabin in the woods or a cabin in the mountains can provide the peace and privacy that introverts crave. 9. Craft studio or creative workshop. These spaces allow introverts to get creative in a supportive environment. 10. Uncrowded beach. A beach with fewer people around allows you to enjoy the beauty and serenity of nature while enjoying some alone time. 11. Nature walk. Hiking trails or walking trails in less crowded areas provide an opportunity to connect with nature while enjoying some alone time. These spaces offer a great setting for introverts looking for peace and privacy, as well as a chance to reflect and relax without too many distractions or social pressures. Introvert personalities can vary and have different types or subtypes based on how they interact with the world and how they recharge. Some common types of introverts include: 1. Social introverts. These types prefer to interact in small groups and are comfortable in more intimate social situations, but feel drained after engaging in larger social interactions. They may prefer to talk with a few close friends rather than attend large social events. 2. Thinking introverts. These types tend to focus more on deep thought and personal reflection. They often enjoy time alone to think and reflect, and prefer to focus on ideas and concepts rather than on social interactions. 3. Sensitive introverts. These types are highly sensitive to external stimuli and stimulation. They can feel overwhelmed by noise, crowds, or busy social situations, and prefer quiet, controlled environments. 4. Creative introverts. These types often have a talent or interest in creative pursuits such as writing, painting, or music. They may find fulfillment and energy in creative pursuits that allow for deep self-expression. 5. Reflective introverts. These types tend to take time to reflect and carefully consider their options before making a decision. They may prefer to plan and think things through. 6. Analytical introverts. These types tend to focus on analysis and problem solving. They may enjoy jobs that require attention to detail and logical thinking, and often feel comfortable in environments that allow them to work independently. 7. Observational introverts. These types prefer to observe rather than actively participate in social situations. They often enjoy the role of observer and tend to notice details that others may overlook. 8. Intuitive introverts. These types tend to follow their instincts and intuition. They may focus more on potential and possibilities than on concrete facts and data. These types are not necessarily mutually exclusive, Many introverts may have a combination of these types in their personality. Each type of introvert has unique strengths and challenges that shape how they interact with the world and manage their energy. The way introverts think often reflects their underlying personality traits, such as a tendency toward deep reflection, internal information processing, and a preference for quiet environments. Here are some common aspects of introverted thinking. 1. Deep reflection. Introverts tend to reflect and think things through before making decisions or reacting. They often take time to analyze situations and process information internally. 2. Internal processing. They prefer to process information in their own minds before sharing it with others. This can make them seem slower to respond but allows them to provide more mature and thoughtful responses. 3. Focus on detail. Introverts often pay attention to small details and can be very meticulous in the work or projects they undertake. They may prefer to work with data and information that requires careful analysis. 4. Thinking alone. They often feel more comfortable and productive when thinking or working alone. They may feel more focused and able to explore their ideas without distractions. 5. Tendency to reflect. Introverts tend to have more time to reflect and analyze their feelings or personal experiences. This can help them understand themselves and situations better. 6. Careful speaking. They may be more careful about how they speak or express their opinions, choosing their words carefully and avoiding speaking without thinking about the consequences. 7. Creativity and imagination. Many introverts have strong creative and imaginative abilities. They may find innovative ways to solve problems and develop new ideas through deep thought. 8. Experience-based approach. They often learn from personal experience and reflection. Introverts may prefer to explore their own experiences and understand how they influence their views. 9. Preference for quiet environments. Quiet, undisturbed environments allow introverts to think more clearly and organize their ideas better. 10. Internal interest. They are often more interested in the internal aspects of a situation or problem, such as emotional dynamics or personal motivations, than in the more obvious external aspects. This way of thinking can make introverts very good at tasks that require attention to detail, deep reflection, and creative problem solving. While they may not always express their ideas openly, they often have valuable insights and deep understandings of situations and themselves. I could make this video about introverts for as long as it takes. But enough is enough, let's stop here for now. Don't forget to leave your messages about introverts in the comments section.